Warning, this video contains strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, my Hooked Honeys, and welcome back to Hooked. If you're new here, my name is Leanne, and Hooked is basically where we tell some true crime stories and do some crochet projects together. And on today's episode, we will be talking about Anthony Kirkland. Yeah, Anthony Kirkland. And we also will be finishing up these shorts that I am making for my little one. So I slip stitched for the waistband and I did double crochet as far as going through rounds through the increase. And then that's about from here to here is about 8 rows, 9 rows maybe. And then I'm working on 5 rows of single crochet so I could do the middle part of it and start the legs. So I will have y'all do that with me. Pop, 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 pop. I also will be using a 5.5 millimeter hook for these. Did y'all see the solar eclipse yesterday? I was at work all day, of course, but we were super dead. Like wasn't nobody in there, so we were all outside, and it was like really cool. No one, only one person. It was four of us there, right? And only one person had glasses, so we were all like passing the little glasses around. And me being me, I kept like kind of peeking up at it. But yeah, it was super cool and it was super pretty, man. I'm sorry. I should have took the day off. Me and my baby could have went by down by the river and got us some glasses and had a whole little situation. But no, I was at work and we were open all day. Like everyone else, school got out early. And some schools were even closed. Like people were getting off of work early and everything. And you know where I was? I was at work all day. Like it's not fair. Anthony Kirkland was born September 13th of 1968, and it was said by his lawyer that he experienced a lot of physical and mental abuse as a child. And some say that that could have like a lot to do with why he acted the way he acted as he got older. Honestly, I that's a there's a fine line between the nature and nurture kind of thing. Like at the end of the day, you're still an adult doing too much. Calm down. But Anthony had five known victims, and they were Leola Douglas, who was 27 years old, and she was killed on May 20th of 1987. Cassandra Crawford, who was only 14 years old, and she was murdered on May 4th of 2006. Mary Jo Newton, who was 45 years old, she was murdered on June 14th, 2006. Kimia Roslin, who was 25 and she was murdered on December 22nd of 2006. And lastly, Esma Kinney, who was only 13 years old and she was murdered on March 7th of 2009. So we can say he was 2006 was his year. That's where he was doing a lot of his BS, I guess, like all of his action. So on May 20th of 1987, Anthony raped and murdered his girlfriend because she refused to have sex with him. His girlfriend was Leola Douglas. He then set her body on fire to conceal the evidence of the rape. Anthony pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 20 to or sorry, he was sentenced to 10 to 25 years in prison because that's all you get for killing, raping, and setting fire to somebody's freaking body. Like, that makes a whole bunch of sense. So, while he was in prison, he obtained his GED and associate's degree. He had multiple infractions, and between 1998 and 2003, Anthony was placed in solitary confinement 21 times for disciplinary control. So he clearly wasn't doing very well in prison. Anthony was denied parole because of the like how serious his crimes were. However, he benefited from a ruling by the Ohio Supreme Court declaring that parole eligible inmates had to be judged by their convictions and not just the crime. Therefore, Anthony was subject to more lenient guidelines for voluntary manslaughter, the voluntary manslaughter conviction. And he was paroled in 2004 after serving 16 years of his sentence. So, do we think that he learned his lesson? Do we think that he's gonna go and he's gonna be a great person in society after this? Is that what we think? Do we think that? I don't think so. I don't. Not at all. So I am at the part where we have to do the crotch. So I already put a stitch marker or my little bobby pin where I needed to reattach it on the other side. So I am going to do 2 inches of the crotch part, which is essentially a chain of 7. And then I slip stitch it where my stitch marker was. And then pull tight, chain 1. And then there you would cut your yarn. So I am going to reattach my yarn in the middle part right here, so that the seam is kind of going down the middle. But you see here, this is the top part of the shorts, and now we're going to start the little leg holes or whatever. I'm at about 6.5 inches as far as like the length of it right now. So I'll probably do maybe 6 rows of double crochet through the leg. So I'll do probably 7 full rows or whatever. So I'll do 1 row of single crochet in each leg, and then I'll do the 6 rows of double crochet. And we're going to do that, and then we'll be back to the story. So I finished this pants leg, well, the leg on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the leg on this side. And I've already done 1 single crochet and then a row of double crochet. So now I have 4 rows of double crochet left. And where do we say? What do we say? Where we leave off? He had just got done serving, Anthony had just got done serving his 16-year sentence in prison or whatever for the murder of his ex-girlfriend. So he's out. From May 4th, 2006 to March 7th, 2009, Anthony murdered 4 females. 2 of them were teenagers, like young. We already went over the ages of the women that he murdered. 3 of them were by strangulation. In each case, he had burned his victims' bodies and concealed evidence of rape. So not only did he murder these women, he raped all of them as well. Anthony was arrested near the scene of his last murder in possession of the iPod of his last victim. So on the morning of his trial, Anthony entered a guilty plea to the murder and abuse of a corpse on the charges relating to Newton and Roslyn. So that was Mary Jo Newton and then Kimia Roslyn. On March 12th, 2010, the jury found Anthony guilty on all of the counts, including all of the death penalty specification. The jury recommended the death sentence. Anthony Kirkland was sentenced to death on March 31st of 2010. Anthony Kirkland is currently incarcerated at the Chillicothe Correctional Institution here in Ohio. Well, my Hooked Honeys, that was the story of Anthony Kirkland. If you want to see the finished product of the shorts, follow me on Instagram at HookedWTrueCrime, and make sure you subscribe because I'm here for you every Wednesday. Love y'all. Bye.